Greetings in the mighty name of my Lord Jesus Christ of Nazareth. As you see my topic, dealing with grief or loss of loved ones. We're going to dissect, we're going to be reasoning, and I hope and trust that this topic will help a lot of grief person or person that is in grief, person that lose loved ones. I am here just to help, to motivate, to empower people or human being on a whole, how to manage, how to cope with loss of loved ones or grief. And before I even go there, I want to say this to you. In some point in time, everybody have to deal with loved ones that they have lost by accident, by sickness. It could be a grandmother, could be a father, could be a mother, could be a friend. But all of us have to deal with grief or loss of loved one. And when we speak about grief, grief doesn't necessarily only dealt with a mother or a father has been passed away. A grief can also indicated that you did not get the promotion. You did not get the academic qualification that you desire. A grief can also comes in various different types of way. But I'm here to encourage you that to be strong. As I said before, in some point in times in our life, every human being have to go through a grieving process. And before I even get deluged in grief or loss of loved ones, Jesus Christ have to go through it in his life as well. If you examine the Bible in St. John chapter 11 with Lazarus, a good friend of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ wept because he's a human being, and he also showed the emotional side or the human side of him. A lot of persons not dealt in well with loss of loved ones. Because of loss of loved ones and because of not getting the promotion, nor the business, and the list can goes on, you give up on life. But I'm here to encourage you that from once there is life, there is always hope in our lives. Now, the first thing how to deal with grief is talk to God about your feelings. How to deal with grief. First of all, you have to acknowledge that there is a creator. And before I even go any further, many of you blame God because God has not intervened in the way that you sought it to be, probably by saving your loved ones. But everything happened for a reason in this life. So how to deal with grief? Speak to God. Speak to Jesus Christ about it. He's the one that made you. Remember he said, "For I know the plans that I have for you. Plans not to hurt you, but plans to give you a hope and a future." Dealing with grief or loss of loved ones, it's a part of life that you have to stand firm. Every decision that you made in your grieving process, in the loss of your loved ones, there is or will be a consequence, whether it's negative and whether it's positive. And everybody, every human being, grieve or loss of loved ones in different ways. Some cry, some try to drink it in rum. Some try to hide it at jobs, keep on working. So every human being deal with grief or loss of loved ones in a different way or a different format. And we have to learn how to deal with our own grief or loss of loved ones in our own way. So the first thing to deal with grief or loss of loved ones is to ensure that you have a relationship with God. Greetings to everybody in the mighty name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. How to deal with grief or loss of loved ones, right? Talk to somebody that you confide in, someone that you trust, someone that have a good encouraging words that can lift your inner man, lift your spirit. This is a season that a lot of persons don't even feel like to celebrate this season because of what they have been through. They have lost their sons, lost their daughters, lost their grandmothers, lost their friend, lost their, you name it. And the list can goes on. And I believe that there's a lot of people in the church not dealing with this topic because, and it is critical and important for every human being. Now, the other one, how to deal with grief or loss of loved ones, is give a support to hears to others. Learn to listen to people who are grieving. Learn to listen to persons that are going through a trauma of grief or loss of loved ones in their lives. Some person don't have the inner strength as how you may have the inner strength. Some person grieve from within, but you never necessarily see the expression until they committed suicide. While some person smiled away but dying on the inside. While some person will work a 9 to 5 right through. While some person will drink it in rum or smoke. So we have to break it because that is what the enemy wants. He wants us to grieve or in the sorrow, in the pain, and to believe that there is no future, which is tomorrow. Understand this grieving process will affect each and everyone in life. How to deal with grief or loss of loved ones in your life. Don't blame yourself. Stop blaming yourself. Stop blaming yourself for the loss of your loved ones. Many of you guys have blamed yourself that if I should do this, my grandmother would be alive. Or if I did do this, this person will still be here. Stop play the blaming game. Blaming games will only cause you to plunge into a deeper darkness that the adversary wants to grip you, wants to hold you, and want to use you for his works, for you to lose hope. And let me say this in the same process. When someone look on you and say, get out of the grieving process, it's not easy. Some person grieve for their loved ones and still been grieving, even them being a Christian, in church, but still dying. And that's where a lot of person get active to try to replace the grief or the loss of loved ones. I want to say this to you. That will always remain with you forever. Loss of your mother, your father, your sister, someone that you love dearly, will always remain with you forever. And the truth fact is that there is no medication or antibiotic that can get rid of it. But I can encourage you, from once there is life, there is always hope. And the best remedy to get rid of that sorrow, that pain, that hurt, that sudden surprise of death or loss of promotion that plunge you into depression and suppression and confusion and stress. The best remedy to help yourself when you're losing someone that you love, the best remedy is to build great memories to replace the sorrow. If you can have great memories, great happy memories to replace the sorrow and pain of your loved ones, you can overcome whatever you are feeling. It wasn't easy for Jesus to lose his good friend Lazarus. It wasn't easy. So, build yourself with great memories and replace it with the bad memories of losing a loved one. Yes, we all go through it. We cried. We blame ourselves. We find somebody to pity our sorrow. Right? Some of you may take it up by having extra relationship, trying to ease the burden, ease the pain, trying to see how much pleasure you can get to get rid of it. But the truth fact is, it's never go away. So when you can replace that memory of your loved ones, your mother that died, your father that died, your child that died, with great memories, happy memories, and I believe that whosoever are deceased for you will surely happy if you are having an happy life. I've been through the process. Lost a mother. Especially during this season. It wasn't easy, and it's still not easy. I lost my father. Still not easy. But I still stand strong. And that makes me who I am. And that's why and how to deal with grief or loss of loved ones, stop being around negative people, negative family relatives. And be who God wants you to be. How to deal with grief, or how to deal with grief. Let me help you a little bit here. Is write out your feeling, how you feel. Write it on piece of paper. You have a diary. Write out how you feel, the loss. Write it out, man, because sometimes when you write out in a diary, you are released the inner stress or the inner feelings or the inner emotion that cause you to plunge in sickness. Because what grief does, or what loss of loved ones does, is to plunge you to make your high blood pressure go up, to make your blood vessel go up, to make your blood vessel burst in your head, to let your heart work overtime. And I don't believe that God wants that for you. I don't believe that God wants that for you. You can overcome. Find a nice movie to encourage you. Find something that can motivate your spiritual man to pull you from the grief that you're going through. Right? Stay away from negative family, negative friends, negative co-workers, negative church members, and watch how God does in your life. Grief, and as I said before, grief doesn't necessarily mean that loss of your loved ones. Grief can mean loss of you're not getting the promotion. You're not getting your loss because you did not finish college. Your grief. You did not get the job. You did not get the visa. That's grief. Grief is pain. Grief is disappointment. You're disappointing. Right? Now, greetings to everybody again. Greetings in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. I'm trying to help somebody that are going through grief, loss of loved ones. Grief also caused by loss of loved ones, flashback. And you will be here up and of a sudden, bad memories. Your brother who you used to love, your sister who you used to love, right? Your father that used to take, it does, and all of a sudden tears begins to run. And how to deal with grief, how to get rid of grief, right? Or how to release the emotion and the hurt that you're feeling from loss of loved ones. It's good to cry. Nothing wrong with shedding tears. It's good to cry. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you feel less than who you are. You are just releasing the inner emotion that piled up that caused you to plunge in grief. And I'm going to encourage you that none of us in this life is going to live forever. I want to encourage you again, none of us in this life it will not live forever. Once a man, twice a child. There is a point in time that we have to depart from this world. And who are grieving or loss of loved ones, your attitude and your behavior or what you say can also affect your child. So you have to be the strength or the backbone of the family to pull it together. I know and I believe that you can do it. If someone can believe in me, I can believe in you as well. I know you can pull through. The road is not the end. That's not your final stop. There is a greater work. There's a greater purpose. There's a greater will for your life. You can make it. I know you can make it through your grieving process. Through your loss. You don't feel like you want to go back to church. You don't feel like nobody cares. You don't feel like nobody understands. Yes, these are the symptoms of grief. And some of the symptoms of grief that people are not dealing well with grief or loss of loved ones. Before I even get back to this, dealing with grief, let me tell you some of the symptoms that many persons are not dealing with grief or loss of loved ones well. Anytime you find somebody that begins to work a lot of hard things, just lock themselves in work. 24/7 them and lock themselves in work. That's a sign that they are not dealing with grief or loss of loved ones well. Signs of some person not dealing with grief or loss of loved ones well is a compulsive behavior. When you saw some persons their attitude begins to change out of the normal since they lose their mother, since they lose their father by death, by accident, their behavior pattern begins to change. And these are some of the signs that you know that your family relative is not dealing with grief well. Right? You have to take things in your hands and tell yourself, command your mind, your mental space, your mental capacity to come back. Because grief can also cause a lot of human beings to get mad in Bellevue or in the mental institution. So, and that is a mental, anytime when you find that some persons not dealing with grief well or loss of loved ones well, you begin to see them lock themselves to themselves. You see them in a corner. You see them they isolate themselves from society. And that will cause mental breakdown. And that's why it is good when you see somebody that are loss of loved ones, going through a loss of loved ones or grief. Right? It's good to support them so they don't have a mental breakdown. And sometimes some person run to the church, but because a lot of church are more fixed on money and not fixed on helping an individual, they have a mental breakdown. And that's where you find a lot of person in church, still grieving, still praising God, but still dying on the inside. A lot of person still preaching, but still dying. You have a lot of person still singing at the choir, but still dying because they haven't get over the loss of their loved ones. And it is serious. And that is how some person begins to blame a lot of persons in the church and even out of the church. And that's why I'm encouraging pastors that are here, or leaders that are there. It is good to understand the signs when some members are human beings not dealing with grief or loss of loved ones well. Yes. Next one that a person not dealing with grief well is that they are irritated, or by, as the simplest thing, they get angry, get upset. It's like they move from 0 to 10 in no time. That's another sign that they are not dealing with the loss of their mother, their father, their sister, you name it. Well, they still haven't got, even when the person buried and gone, even when the funeral is over, there will be still signs that the person not dealing with their loss of their loved one well. Signs of how some person not dealing with the loss of their loved ones well. They begins to cut themselves. They begins to use things to inflict harm, trying to numb the pain that they are feeling on the inside. And those are signs. Signs of persons not dealing with their grief well is that they sleep with many men, or they sleep with many women, trying to inflict pain, or somebody trying to inflict pain through sexual activities to see how best that they can numb or get rid of the grief process that is inside of them. Signs of person not dealing with grief well: over functioning. They are overworking, they are overdoing stuff. And grief is not easy. Grief dealt with the heart. Grief also affect the mind and also affect the heart, whether you like it or not. Secondly is that you find also, why these are another symptoms persons not dealing with their loss of loved ones or the grief process, not getting the job, not getting the visa. Well, because that is grief, because grief means lost. Anything that you lost, lost from you, right? You find some person begins to withdraw from relationship. Anytime you find some person begins to withdraw from relationships, those are signs of that person or that individual still grieving. Secondly, you find some person begins to lock away. And a lot of person will use grieving process to be on social media, because they're trying to find something to distract their minds. This is very important that I'm teaching you. It looks simple. And that's why a person get into relationship or get into a business relationship and it's never worked out because they haven't dealt with the grief. Grief and loss of loved ones have destroyed a lot of families and still hurting a lot of families. and still causing a lot of families not to speak to other families. So grief, we have to deal with grief. And it's very important. A lot of persons, if they're not equipped enough and spiritual enough or understand enough, they will never understand what you're going through. Not a sign of all persons not dealing with grief well. You don't understand what I'm going through. They always use that. You don't understand, because you are not seeing the same thing as how they are seeing it. Now, back to how to deal with grief, or how to deal with loss of loved ones. One is how to deal with grief, or how to deal with loss of loved one, is replace your grief or your loss with replacing loss with great memories or happy memories. Your mother, your father that died, your sister that died, your cousin that died, your boyfriend that died, your husband that died, your wife that died. I don't think they want you to be grieving over them for the rest of your life. Get over it. Go to the beach, wet your foot. Find movies that makes you laugh. Find music that keep you happy. You can't go into a grieving process or a loss process or loss of loved ones and listen to some sad music. Listen to sad music or sad gospel, which only plunge you more in grief. Let me say this again. Listen to soft music that store the emotions or store the hurt will cause you to plunge more deeper in emotional unstableness because of the loss. You have to find happy music. Music that can make you dance. Songs that can bring you out, pull your inner man out back, pull you back from the pit of hell and put you back into reality. You understand? Find some movies. You can't be going through your grieving process or your loss process and I watch sad movies or lovey-dovey movies that cause you to sad. It will bring flashback that cause you to change your mood for the entire day. You have to ensure that you are watch happy movies that can bring you out into a state of comfort. To deal with it, stay away from negative people. I personally don't like negative. I prefer to be alone than to be around negative energy. I choose to be around than to be around negative people that speak. I prefer to be around people that have a future thinking. I prefer to be around that people who are elevating so I can use them as a yardstick to pull me into that direction. Drinking rum is not the answer. Smoking is not the answer. Selling your body is not the answer. Hurting others in physical and emotional relationship because of your loss of your mother is not the answer. Jesus Christ is the answer. He is the way, the truth, and life. He is the same God yesterday, today, and forever. He never changed. It is because of God and it is because of Jesus Christ why I'm still here. And I choose that, and that's why God allowed me to go through this process, that I can help somebody that is going through it. Stop blaming yourself. Let me continue how to deal with grief. How to deal with grief. Next one is try not to make any major change right away. How to deal with grief. Try not to make any major change immediately. You're still in a grieving process. Don't make no sudden decisions that can cause you to lose a house. You have to make a sudden decisions because you have been pressured by family relatives to get rid of the dead left them or to split up the material stuff or the wealth. Don't be quick to make major decisions when you're grieving. Stabilize your mind. Stabilize you before, because you can't make a clear decision until your mind is cleared. So don't be hastily or be quick to make any major decisions about any dead left or any properties that we believe behind. Right? Because you may make the wrong decision and it may cost you a lot. How to deal with grief, right, is try not to make any change right away. And the other one is how to deal with grief. You have to learn to speak to your doctor. Because remember that many of you have health problems. Could be high blood pressure. And you can't take one bad news. And if you even do get the bad news, and who are in a family, you have to begin to watch people who have high blood pressure, who know that them son or daughter or whatever has died. You call it supportive team. Because you don't want to have 2 funerals in one day. You don't want to have a death behind a death. And many family relatives that you thought that is strong deeply, they have sickness or illness and they will never share it. So be very careful even how you even break the news to them. Because you can help to kill or to destroy your loved ones. So be very careful on that. Consult your doctor. Right? So, because many of you can't sleep at night and grief with loss of loved ones or grief will make you can't sleep. And I'm not going to come here and talk about demons and demons. I have to deal with reality, which I am dealing with reality people here. Now, that's another one. Consult your doctors. What to take, what not to take, because of your blood pressure gone up. Certain illness begins to spike. So dealing with grief is critical. And moral support is very good. Dealing with people who lost their loved ones. I reach a stage in my life, I don't say negative about anyone. I don't care who you are. I prefer not to say, I prefer to walk with. That's how I am. Right? Not all of my relatives are good. But that doesn't give me the right to kill my own family because of my grieving process or to retaliate. That's not a good sign. You have to learn to control you. I love all of my relatives them. Good, bad, and the difference. All of us have our bad attitude. All of us have our bad ways. All of us have our negative ways. But just because you're going to lose your loved ones, you're going to take it out on everybody? No. Love, man. Love. Support them. Support them financially as well. How to deal with grief or loss of loved ones? Support them financially. Because a lot of persons going through grief and the first they don't know how to bury the dead. How to bury the dead. And I have to say this without any apology. Let me use one of my family relatives as an example. And I have to respect her in her presence and out of her presence. I have a family relative. I think her name is Andrea. Yeah, that's one of my cousins who I respect highly. She live in Clarendon. My cousin live in Clarendon. Right? Her home is in Clarendon. And I have to respect her And my hats have to be off for her, regardless of who she is. I saw her fly down from America. And I saw she help out another relative that passed on. And I have to respect her for that. She don't only use financial support, but also moral support. Yes, her name is Andrea. What am I saying? That we have to learn to support a family relative that is going through grief or loss of loved ones. They need finance, but they also need moral support, that somebody is there. If you're even not going to the funeral, go into the night. If you're not going to the night, go to the funeral. Right? Because sometimes you want to know who's really who. And I have to respect my family relative, Andrea from Clarendon. That's where she lives. I'm not going to give you exactly the address. I have to respect her for doing that. Regardless. So that's another way of dealing with grief or loss of loved ones. Another way of dealing with loss or grief when it comes to loved ones is to ensure that you take care of yourself. A lot of persons not eating well when they lose somebody that they love. And it's painful to lose a mother, a father, regardless of worse if they're close to you. It's hurt to the core. And sometimes you just in your bathroom and your tears begins to flow. Sometimes you at work and tears begins to flow. Especially your belly pain, your 9 months pain where you bring for months. It really hurts. It really hurts. So that's another way of dealing or dealing with grief. With grief. Right? Secondly, again, how to deal with grief or loss of loved ones is to try and exercise and eat healthy, because you have to eat healthy. You have to have the right nutrients to deal with grief. It will take a toll on your body that you will see food and can't eat food. Find a way to encourage your loved ones. Motivate them, man. Eat piece of cake or eat something that is healthy. That is healthy. Right? And see how best that you can encourage the individual that are grieving through the process to eat healthy as well. Because you don't want that person to have a mental breakdown. And it's facts of life dealing with grief. Don't make nobody tell yourself to get over grief. You will never get rid of grief, and you will never get rid of loss of loved ones. You will live with you till you're dead. But you just have to not going to blame yourself and cause yourself to plunge more deeper in it. Because a person that said then get rid of it, but yesterday when the flashback comes, tears begins to run. And it's reality. Next one, how to deal with grief, or how to deal with grief, is to ensure that be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself. I want my people to be patient with me. So I have to learn to be patient with others. Me not perfect. And if I'm going through my grieving process, and it can take 5 years before, or 3 years before you officially thought that you really get over it. It takes years. It's not everybody can get rid of it immediately. Some person learn fast, some person adapt fast, while some person takes time. They must slow learner. Glory, glory, glory. Right, so be patient with yourself. Be patient. Don't rush because you just lose our loved ones and then immediately you want to go back to work. Take some time off. Take some time off from work. Relax. You just lost your brother, you just lost your sister, you just lost your cousin, you just lost your auntie. Take some time out. Take some time out. And watch God work. Be patient with yourself. Time. And time is what we don't have much time of. And you can't spend all your life grieve over something that you have no control over. No human being on earth have control over life. None. There is some point in time that we have to let go this world. Love each other. Love each other. Let me say this to you. And before I even go any further, because a lot of person will never spend money with someone that they claim that they love when they were alive. But when they die, they find the most expensive casket to buy them. That's not nice. Never scatter rose after you're gone. Secondly, again, to never ever buy the hand that feed you. Never buy the hand that feed you. Even if the person don't see eye to eye, I bet you take with yourself. If my brother, or my sister, or my grandfather, or my auntie, or my cousin, right, bless me, or help me through my grieving process, and they say something, it's not for me to react. And in every action there's a reaction. I always use the good to override the bad. In my eyes, they're still good to me. I don't run with negative. And that's why most of my family said that stay away from negative people. And I always have family relatives that give me good encouraging words, near and far. And I, be honest with you, I really and truly appreciate them. Both inward and external, both friends and you name it, always give me good encouraging word. And I want to say I thank God for them. I thank God for them. Nevertheless, how to deal with their grief or your loss of loved ones is consult a professional psychology. Because sometimes someone have mental breakdown. Don't wait until it get worse before you carry somebody to see a specialist. May they get help from early out. Greetings to everybody. Right? And next one, how to deal with grief, our last, is understand everyone affected by grief. How to deal with grief is to understand that everybody is affected in different ways. All of us are affected in some point in time. Dealing with grief or loss of loved ones is prepare for recurring grief, which means that you deal with one but prepare for one next one. Begins to make your mind strong, because you may just bury a mother now, and tomorrow morning you see your cousin dead. Or tomorrow morning you see your friend dead. Or tomorrow morning you see your wife dead. Or tomorrow morning you see your husband dead. So always have it in the back of your mind that, hey, I have to get rid of this. I have to overcome this because I'm more than an overcomer. Speak to yourself. Speak to your mind. Encourage yourself to prepare your mind for the next day. Because anything can happen. No one knows the minute nor the hour when any man are dead. I can just do this live. And then all of a sudden he just gone. Glory. How to deal with grief or loss of loved ones, right, is accept that you are an overcomer. As I said before, accept that you're an overcomer. You can do it. You can make it. I believe that you can do it. Don't let your mother death, your loved one death, someone that you're close to that die, cause you not to believe in the future. Cause you to derail the purpose that God over your life. Don't do that. I believe that you're an overcomer. You can do all things through Christ that strengthen you. All things work together for good for those who love the Lord. Learn how to encourage yourself and be an overcomer over your grief or loss. Right? Another one, how to deal with grief is write it in a journal of your life. Write a book. Write a book what you face. You just lose your mother, you just lose somebody that died, lose the job, grief that. Right? Write a book. Some of you can write books that is here. What is delaying you from writing a book? What is causing you to share your life testimony or your life story to help somebody else? That's what books is all about, you know. It's to be an inspiration, to bring somebody to an elevation, to experience the future, to let them understand that there is life in what you've written. So write out your feelings in book, man. Write books, man. Write stories. Write it in jokes. Build somebody. Use it to motivate somebody. When you are an overcomer over your grief, you can be a group supporter. You can support people, and supporting and how to deal with grief. It's good when people can rally around you in your bad times. And next one, how to deal with grief or loss of loved ones is do some heart work. Someone can draw. Take it up on the art, man. Take out the feelings, the emotions, the hurt. Do some art, man, and write it, man. Draw it. Because some are gifted that way. Right? Or who can't write? Right? Turn the grief and use it to motivate you. And dedicate that task or that project as a memory for your loved one that you lost. And that's another way that you can use to pull you out. It could be a business. This is my mother's name. You name the business after your mother, or your father that died, or your cousin that died, and use it as a motivational. Right? You can open a business, but yet still, because you name that loved ones, like your mother name could be Mary. My mother is Mary, and that died. I name a business plan Mary. Right? And then I begin make it grow. Because Mary business, which is my mother name, that lost, right? Now become a Mary enterprise or a Mary product, right? That we can use. And Mary will be glad. She will be looking down and looking and say, boy, that's my son. That's my daughter. That's my cousin. That's my wife. That's my husband. Right? Because now Mary business that you name your name after your loved ones that die now begins to employ a lot of persons. And that's just the truth. So use up your thing how to deal with grief. Channel it into a positive way, not a negative way. Right? How to deal with grief is create things that makes loved one happy when they was living. So create things that makes them happy. Create it, man. Yes, man, creative. My brother will love this, you know. Right? And how to deal with grief. If you know that you are plunged deeper in grief, you have to get rid of things that remind you much. It could be a picture. Take away that picture, put it into a suitcase for a while until you are strong enough. Because sometimes pictures are something that remind them, hey, I'll get rid of that cologne that they use. That remind them that will plunge you more into a deeper depression. Right? How to deal with grief. Be strong. I know you are strong. You know why? From you are in the land of the living, you are strong. From once you are watching me, you are strong. Dealing with grief or loss of loved ones, it's not to break you, but it's to build you. Because can I tell you something? You may lose your loved ones now. And sometimes loved ones have to go to pull us to reality and to pull us from the bad decision that we have been making over the years. Sometimes loved ones have to die. Not because of your will, but loved ones, loss of loved ones is to pull, do you know that people, families who did not talk for years. I mean years, auntie not talk to cousin, or auntie not talk to sister, or sister not talk to sister, or cousin not talk to cousin. Do you know that funeral bring them back? Do you know that it is funeral, or the loss of your mother, or the loss of your father, or your cousin, bring auntie and auntie to talk? And cousin to talk, we don't talk for years, and malice each other. So your loss of your loved ones don't go down in drain. It pull the family back together again. It pulls sister and brother and sisters to talk again. It pull back unity in the family. It pull back the love in the family. You know, say our funeral, some family meet up. Some family who you know see for decades. Our funeral pull them back together. And it's facts. So losing your loved ones, it's bring a negative impact in your life, but it also bring positiveness in the family. You meet some cousin where you never will grow to your sight because of your mother death. That is something good. It bring your destiny helpers to come help you. All of a sudden you just fly out. All of a sudden you get a business. All of a sudden, because of that, no, you never know that something, there's a business for a long time, but because they could not contact you. And a funeral bring the contact back to you. Loss of your loved ones bring the contact. So out of your grieving process, it brings happiness. And it brings connection. So going through your grieving process is not bad. A loss of your loved ones is not bad. They have to die to pull the family back together again. Yes. Now, dealing with grief or loss of loved ones, time will heal. Time must heal. Don't be what people want you to be. Be what God wants you to be. Don't dedicate your life to be a teacher because your mother that dead is a teacher. Be what God, what you love. Don't cancel your dream because of grief, because of losing a loved one. You have to fulfill your dream because you are fulfilling a dead person dream, but your one not start yet. And that you call the real, from the real purpose that lined up with your breakthrough or your open door. Because people are living not their own dream, and that will make you sad. That will more plunge you into a more depression. Because you walk into a field that you are living out or try to live your rest of your life. Dealing with your dead mother and your dead father dream. But what about your one? What about your calling? What about what you love? You're going to spend the next 50 years living out your mother's dream and leave out yours? When your mother and your father dead, that's where certain dreams stop. You have to live your one, your life, your purpose, the will that God called you to be who you are. Our next one, how to deal with grief or loss of loved ones, is try not to think about it. You're thinking too hard. You're thinking too hard. And as I said before, signs you are still in a grieving. And let me tell you some more signs that you are still in a grieving process. Right? Some persons still a grief. How when the body bury and cover, them still a grief. You are still showing signs of stress. Signs of stress still around. You're still grieving, or your loved one is still grieving. You see signs of stress. Where you are stressed about, you don't know. Your mother bury already. I know it's hard. It wasn't easy for me. I buried my mom for many years, but I've never seen her buried. I don't even know where the burying spot there. That doesn't mean say I must live the rest of my life blaming my relatives. Let me say it again, just for your knowledge. I have worked my life, and my mom died, and I buried her without nobody help. More than one person help. Sorry. But no relatives, both on both sides. Because of the chaos that has been happening in the family. Who want this, who want that, you name it. Because you know when person dead left, they're going to fight over now. And I honor my mother wish. And I bury my mother wherever she choose to bury in the parish. Even although I was getting a lot of death threats. Negative. That's why negative don't break me none at all. Whether in church, out of church, on the road, in a supermarket, in a wholesale, that's why negative don't break me. I have learned over the years to survive through negative. I am a survivor. If you put me in the ocean and tell me if you build a boat, I can build it. If you put me to live in one dog house, I'm going to make it. If you lock me and say, boy, I live in one pit, I can guarantee that I will make it. That is how I build my mechanism over the years. And I bury my mom. But because of the whole conflict and the whole death threat, because of vanity, I've never seen my mother buried. I don't even know where the grave there. I could have used it to blame anybody around me. Blame people around me. I could have taken it out on others. But I choose not to. Because in everything there is a decisions that we can make on our own. I choose to still love people. I choose to still love my very own family that caused the entire chaos. It's a choice. Christ still choose to love me even when time in me I deserve it. And I execute. What am I going to live the rest of my life blaming relatives and family, cousins and friends, and get miserable, and get high blood pressure, and I have no sickness, and I have no high blood pressure, I have no high blood pressure, low blood pressure, nor sugar, I have no sickness. Because I still choose to smile. I still choose to be happy. And I've learned a mechanism. I don't care who you are. If I'm in a negative environment, wherever I am, you're not going to see me. That's who I am. I learned how to start back from nothing. I'm going to have no problem even going through the grieving process. Right? Learn to start over back from scratch. Everything that belongs to my mother, we call it dead left. Dead left. I give it away. Every single bit of it. Bed, whatnot, dresser, you name it. Everything that links to the dead or links to my mom passing on, I get rid of it. I start back fresh. Sometimes it's good to start back fresh so you have great memories where you're starting from. Sometimes we hold on upon some stuff in our lives that cause us to grieve. And that's why I even say this publicly. Anytime that I begin to feel or feel that there's a stressful situation and like doors begins to close over my life, right? And I'm being clouded, my judgment begins to cloud. And I've been doing this. I just take away me. I don't come to hurt nobody. My wish is not for hurt nobody because of certain life or certain stuff. My thing is to love people, not to disrespect nobody because of this or because of that or because of the pile of grief in my heart that become me lose this or become me frustrated. No. I've learned a lot of stuff. I walk away from so much things in my life. And I said before, grief is different. Grief doesn't mean say because of loved ones. Grief can means that, hey, let me get a typical example. Myself and I, and first I'm going to share this live. Myself and I and somebody went through a process to buy a piece of land. And I did buy the land with the individual. I did buy it. But because and this person and I was attached. And when I bought the land with the individual, and I said before, grief doesn't mean loss of debt. It can mean loss of business. Right? Loss of things that can make your life prosperous. And when I bought the land with the individual, it becomes a tantrum. And I work over the years, even when I'm not communicating with the individual, and every month the loan come out of my pay. And even when I was being encouraged by friends and families and you name it, to do wickedness and stop it and don't make the person get the property and all of that, I said no. You know why? I want a heavenly mind. I don't want an earthly mind. I don't want to think like man. I want to think like God. And I still paid. And when I meet the individual one day, I said, listen, you can pay the rest of it and you can have the property. You can have the land. From once there is life, there is hope. Some of you may say, boy, you're fool. From once there is life, there is hope. I released the property that we both signed to and the loan is being taken out of. And I said that you can go ahead with it. It's fine. I don't have a piece of property. I don't have land, but I don't make because of this cause me to be sad. I don't made God know me from in my mother's womb. It doesn't made me to be sad. Because sadness will cause you to hurt a lot of persons. And anytime that I'm finding myself being sad, I've been clustered, I've been pushed to the corner, and you're not going to see me. That's who I am. Because I don't believe to hurt people. Because I can't say I love God and can't love people. And this is how me deal with it. And I write it off. So, my mother dead left, me give away. Everything. Stove, bed, you name it. I don't see the vanity, I see my mother good memories. And I know that she want me to live a life that pleasing to God. I go all out for people, but it's not everybody will go all out for me. I will not be a likable person. Because I don't pretend and I can't pretend. I don't have to tell you straight. That's who I am. I'm not better than nobody. If I eat banana, I eat banana too. I don't scorn people. I don't look down on nobody at all. Because I know where I'm at. I know where I'm coming from. And that's what I'm saying. Loss, it can be good as how you take it, and it can be bad. It can be good and it can be bad. But loving each other. I reach a stage not to speak even negative about people. Nobody will hear me call any human being and speak negative about another individual. I don't have no time to waste because of loss, because of grief. I will not spend the rest of my life dealing with things. And that's why I said to myself that to me, I am starting fresh and I'm starting over. I love people, but it's not everybody will love you for who you are. I cherish people, but it's not everybody will cherish you as though you want them to cherish you. I don't disrespect people, I just tell people the truth. And I move on. I'm a person that is private. Most things, before I tell individual, I reason with me and God. I know where I'm coming from. I've lost a lot in life, but still stand. My father's property when I was a child, let me use this again. My father died because of property. Fight over land, and one man hurt him and kill him, cripple him and kill him because over vanities. I don't fight over vanity. I don't fight over vanity. I don't fight over nothing upon this land. Only thing I want in life is a fight for my salvation, and a fight for peace, and a fight for joy. And that is how I survive. That is how that makes me who I am. When my father lose his property, I'm showing you what I've been through. Because in order for you to understand how to deal with stuff, you have to understand where a person has been. My father buy a piece of land. You know what one of my auntie does? She go behind and run down and take down all of the dead left them. Leave us high and dry. She even lose the land now. So, in this life, I'm used to loss. But in the latter end, I'm gaining spiritual strength. What is more important? Hold on in life or have great memories with God and the journey with God? I prefer the journey with God than anything else. And as I said before, and if this is me, anytime that I'm feeling clustered or I'm not happy, I will sacrifice me. I will sacrifice everything around me to survive. I didn't say sacrifice nobody, you know. I said sacrifice me. Which means that I will start over. You will not see me in the place that you want to see me. Because I'm feel clustered. I will start back over. And I'm saying to you who are watching me, you can make it. If Job can make it, you can make it. Job lost everything, even his children. But Job still stand. Job lose house, Job lose his cattle, Job lose his children them. But did Job give up? Job never give up. Bumps and sores begins to pop up on Job. Even through his grief process. Even through his loss, more than one. And you just lose one pitney or one close friend that you love. Or somebody that you love. And you feel like you can't make it. But Job lose many children. One behind each other. But he still stand. Who's around him to encourage him? I'm sure that Job's friends never encourage him. They scoff at him. I'm sure that Job's wife did not encourage him. Job's wife said, curse God and die. But Job stand because he know he have somebody, he has God. And once you have God in you, that's it. And that is me. Grief. If I don't feel, if a person don't feel belong in life, you're going to lose hope. Let me say it again. And this is how persons kill themselves. This is how people commit suicide, because they don't feel that they are belong. They feel burdened down. They feel stressed. They feel like the whole world is against them. I've seen a lot of persons commit suicide. A whole lot of people commit suicide. I've spoke to people that commit suicide. I've spoke to people that cut themselves, literally cut themselves. Use ice pick, use knife, use razors. And not care who you are in life. Not care who you are in life. You have to ensure that grief or loss of loved ones is get rid out of your system. Because you could be a millionaire. How can a rich man, a rich man, still commit suicide? How can a child that doesn't experience paying bills, paying light bill and water rate, commit suicide? A loss of hope. And loss of hope can affect any one of us. Any one of us. And I always say, love people. Cherish people. Respect yourself. Respect your surrounding. You can speak good about person, but not everybody is going to speak good about you. Look out for that. But love people. Right? Don't make, because of your grief, loss of your business, loss of you're not going to college again because you get pregnant. Don't grieve enough because you grieve enough because you did not get the visa. Those are grief. Lost. Grief doesn't mean that you lost of your loved ones who dead. It means things that can make your life prosperous. I've been through it. I've been through it. I've lost a lot. But I'm still stand. If I did not lose a lot, I could be a rich man now. I could have. Lost. So lost, know how to deal with it. Love people. Cherish people. I'm still here to praise his name. I'm still here. He took the blame. Love people. Cherish people. And watch God work. Tell yourself that you will come out from your loss or from your losing of your loved ones. You will come out. If I lose my mother, way back how much years, and if I lose aunties, and if I lose in terms of debt, lose cousins, friends, some people, I mean, I even lost a friend, very, very close. I mean, it shocked. Not even when I lose a family relative, it hurts so much than when I lose a good friend. A very good friend of mine. Good friend. But circumstances prevent me not to even go to the funeral, and I could have blamed myself. But you done bury already. So we have to move on. Love people, man. Send out some love. And signs of you are still grieving. Right? You feel like you are getting sick more and more, early or taking longer to recover from your sickness. And this is how some person realize that the grieving process is still in. Because you still get sicker and sicker and sicker. Signs of people still grieving. Right? You may be extremely focused on reminding of your loss or being extensive towards others. Anything you find yourself begins to be towards others, you know that you are still grieving. Right? Signs you are still grieving. Your chest might feel tight, painful, or a stinging inside your stomach. Those are signs of stress, of grief, of loss. Said before I go, replace those sad memories into great memories. Replace those loss of your mother, your father, your sister who dead, who is not in the land of the living. Ensure that you have wonderful memories and enjoy life. You are special. You are unique. You can do it. You can make it. You can recover. You can overcome. You are the head. God can turn your scars into stars. Your latter is greater. Everything that you're going through is for the best, to bring out the best. You can do it. You can do it. Don't give up on life. Don't give up on hope. Stand firm. Stand strong. I know you can make it. I know you can do it. You don't have to take pills. You don't have to live in the guilt. You don't have to blame yourself. You can do it and overcome your loss and your grief. I love you with love the Lord. Until next time, be happy. Be happy. Be happy. Be happy in your mind. Be happy in your heart. And watch God work. Love people. Love somebody. Love your relatives who are going through the process. Right? Support them. Support them through good times, through bad times. Support them. Support her. Sometimes people don't even need your money. They just need your moral support. Let me say again. Many persons don't even need your money. They just know that you are there for them. Support. Love you. Keep strong. Until next time. This is your host Winston Reid. Be strong. Be courageous. Be happy. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come before His presence with singing. Somebody say thank you for your teaching. It's not you're welcome. It's not every time I'm going to come with Bible scripture. I have to come with something that can elevate and build your spiritual man. I love you. I respect you. I thank God for everybody that is praying for me. I thank God for your love and your support. Right? I thank God for who believe in me. And because of your belief, help me to be who I am. Love you. Love you. Don't watch the crowd. Watch the life and the grieving process that you're going through. And watch God work to let you be happy. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done as earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day and our daily bread. And forgive us of our trespasses, as we forgive those that trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. I love you with love of the Lord. You can send your text. You can, if that I can help you to overcome or to conquer. God bless you. In Jesus' name. Until next time. Take care. Thumbs up. Love you. Bye-bye.